Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Now, I know it's been a while, but because we've had other things going on, we haven't really done much Car Mechanic Simulator. But here we are, with a new vehicle. It is the 1993 Porsche 911 Turbo S 964, and we're going to return it to factory standard today. Its engine is a B6 M64.50, and it cost us £46,922 from the auction. If you look at it, you kind of wonder where the money went. We kind of paid for the name and that's about it, I would have said. But today we're going to restore this car back to how it should have been, straight out, fresh from the factory. Now, because it's been so long, you may find I make a few mistakes. Apologies for that straight away. The biggest reason it's been a while is because we've had a few other series on the go, and with different school holidays and things. I've just not had enough time to make these episodes. Car Mechanic Simulator episodes take up quite a lot of time. I think it's around an hour to an hour and a half for an episode to record. Then it's the editing, the voiceover, and all that stuff. So they probably take the longest out of all the things we do. I do want to keep them on the go. I do still enjoy the game. I'm thoroughly looking forward to some of the updates coming. It's just a time issue. So we will try and keep these going. Even if we get an episode once every 2 weeks, something like that, I am going to try and keep them going as much as possible. I thoroughly enjoy the game still, and there's lots more I want to still do. It's just time. But anyway, back to today's car. We've already taken the wheels off because we need to take the gearbox off. It's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. The engine's in the rear as one, as you can see. I'm just checking to see if there's anything else we can take off. Normally, there's an exhaust that needs to come off, and I'm just trying to work out which one it is. That one connects to that. That connects to that. Okay, I think maybe we don't need to take it off. Normally, you have to take an exhaust off to get this engine out. Let's have a look at the front end. So my thinking is liquids. Now, normally we take an engine out, we just have to make sure the water's emptied. And that's from the scrapyard. There is no normally from the scrapyard. There's no containers. There's no reservoirs. That's the word I was after. But because this is from an auction, some of these are still here. So we do need to empty them out. We need to be a bit careful. This is where we can make mistakes and can get fines for spilling the liquids. I'm just looking around. I think that's everything from there. Let's have a look back underneath the engine. It's a nice looking engine. It's definitely the first of its kind we've done, I believe. Although I think we featured this car in the Porsche update video. So I think we have dealt with one of these, but not to this standard. Not to this degree before, if I remember correctly. So, I think that's the liquids out. Let's see if we can take the engine out. No, we need to take the intercooler off. Okay, this is where we learn lessons. Intercooler is this top part, so that can come off. And I believe that's it. Can we take this out now? We can. Okay. So we're going to take the engine to the engine stand. We're going to take this engine apart. We're going to play the music, as we have done in previous episodes. So enjoy the music, and we'll see you when his engine is completely apart. So that is the engine just about done. Last few parts coming off now, as you can see. Piston with conrods, last couple to do. It was quite an interesting engine to take apart because you had to do it in a certain way to access the pistons. But we're going to go off and fix everything, and we have done that. So we're going to start putting this engine back together, and we'll see you with this nice glistening engine in front of us. Last few parts going on now. The electrical wires, the little clips, these are easily missed. Last few to go on, and then we'll have a proper look at this engine. I'll tell you something, building this engine was an incredible feat of engineering. Not for us, but I mean in terms of the detail it has and the order you have to do things in. It's one of those engines that I've really enjoyed rebuilding and seeing the inner workings, if that makes sense. I know this isn't real life, this is obviously a simulator, and a lot of the things are correct to real life, realistically. There are parts of it that aren't. I completely understand that, but even so, it's definitely a feat of engineering. So we need to now take apart all the bodywork. There's not a lot to take off, to be honest. It's missing a few parts, as you can see. So we'll do the bodywork first before we deal with the suspension. We have got battery. Let's take the battery out. We're here anyway. Makes sense. While we're here, let's take out the reservoirs and fuel pump, fuel tank, ABS. They all need to come off. They all need to be fixed or replaced. So we'll take them all off anyway. And we're here. It makes sense to do it while we're here. Another reservoir there, and the brake one. Perfect. Fuse box. Let's deal with this while we're here. And we'll do a usual trick. We'll take all the fuses out. We'll then put it to build mode, and then add all the fuses to our shop on this. Because the reason I do that is I find that if you take all the fuses out, if you're missing one and you don't know you're missing a fuse from the ones you've taken out, you won't buy one. So it just makes it more likely you're going to get all of them bought in one shot. And it's all about saving time where possible, isn't it? That's the thing. This can still be messed up though if you press the same one wrong or that kind of thing. But just in case, this is my method. It works for me. I enjoy using this way of doing it, and I think it saves myself quite a decent amount of time. So there we go. That's all of them. So we'll take this base off. I don't think we can do the fuel tank, can we? I think it's going to be done from underneath. Okay, internals. We'll have to deal with that in a second as well. Let's get to the right menu. There we go. Seats and steering wheel. And then what we do, we'll add these back in, but add them to a shopping list. Just easier to do it this way, I find. Everyone has their own way of doing these things, don't they? Okay, got the trunk to come off. Let's have some rear bumper. There we go. I wonder if that light would come off, but it doesn't. We've got a small window. We know this part's missing. That's something we've got to deal with. Just double checking there's nothing else. I think that is everything. I think that's bodywork done. So we're going to go ahead and take out the suspension. Get this car back to just basics, really. and then we'll be back when it's all done. I know I finished by saying we're taking this car back to basics. That wasn't quite what I meant. I meant back to frame. That'll do. That was the word I was after. Okay, last few parts to come out now. I think that's all the suspension done. I think it is. Yeah. There's a few things left, which are a bit weird, but we'll have a look at those in a second. Okay. I was looking at thinking of adding the exhaust to our shopping list. I always do this anyway, underneath the car, because you can't fix exhaust. So if it's missing, you're guaranteed to then not miss it. Okay, we need to weld the vehicle to increase the frame percentage. Before we do that, there was a few parts left, wasn't there? So we've got the power steering reservoir. That needs to come out. We have emptied it. And we have also the oil filter. Now, normally the oil filter is attached to the engine. In this car, it isn't. You've got the little bit of stuff there that won't move. But there we go. We have welded the car. It looks better. I'm not a fan of the colour, to be honest. But we're going to go ahead and have some more music as we repair and put everything back together on this car. And we'll see you when we're just about done. There we have it. Last part's going on now. I think that went really well. As I've said before, I could, talk all the way through and do all that kind of stuff. Hang on, we're missing something. There's a part that's not right. It's 99%. What are we missing? Okay, while we look for this part, yeah, we could talk all the way through fixing all the parts, but I just think you guys are going to find it boring. I like the music being added in. I think it really adds to the episode. And we're still showcasing what we've done. I think the important part for us is obviously looking at the car, what it looks like when we first buy it, to what it looks like when we're finished, and then it's the lap times, the top speed, the money. That's the important part, I feel. Right, what are we missing here? We haven't put something in, and I don't know what it is. Battery. We haven't put the battery back. Car's not going to work without it, is it? It was in this bottom corner, I believe. We just need to find an access point. And then once we put this in, we're going to go and spray the car, and you'll see what we've done. So this is the 1993 Porsche 911 Turbo S 964. Now, straight away, you may be thinking, what have you done to it? I agree. I didn't pick the colours. So as we've said previously, my son will sometimes pick the colours if he's home when I've been doing the episode, and he was. And this is what he went for. I hate it, but he loves it. And that's the important part. Now, on to the lap. This car was slowly getting better. It was difficult to control, and this is our best lap of our 5 that we're allowed, and this was the final lap. You can see the improvement, a 150.6, a 147, near enough dead, and then we got a bit bad in the last one, 149.9. This lap came out of nowhere. I think we really hooked up the car really well. There are some issues. This car has the power, but it struggles to put it down sometimes. You've got to really be careful coming out of the corner when you accelerate. I found the car didn't like accelerating through the corner. You had to make sure you were straightened up quite early if you wanted to accelerate. As you can see, look there, just trying to make sure it doesn't understeer. And that's the issue I found with this car. But if you look at the previous times, 147 was our previous best in this car. This time's a little bit better than that. It's actually a really, really good lap. So just coming through the final corners now. We've got one more long straight and then a couple of corners, and there. But yeah, so far a good, decent car, decent speed. I've got high hopes for top speed. My only concern for the lap time in terms of leaderboard will just be because you can't get the power down. Whether that will be better when we upgrade it, I don't know, and that will happen hopefully at some point in the future. So we're going to finish the lap with a 1.43.820. So 1 minute 43.820 lap, and that gives us 7th place on the leaderboard. Nothing is beating the top place at the minute, but it wasn't the best. But then with the lack of being able to put the power down, I kind of expected that. This is where I think it will shine, the top speed. Now, where can we go? We're already racking up the speed up over 160 kilometers per hour, over 170, 180 now, 190. We're hitting the 200 benchmark. This is going to be quick. 220 kilometers per hour. Slowing down a little bit, 230 now. 240. It is really slowing down. Can we eke any more out of this? Can we? I think we will. 250. 255. 260. 261. We're going to end with a top speed of 261 kilometers per hour, which is 162.178 miles per hour, and a 4th place on our top speed leaderboard. That was what I expected. That was more like it for the Porsche. So for this Porsche 911 Turbo S, we have spent £25,077 fixing it, including buying it was £71,999, and we sold it for £194,199, a profit of £122,200. And that is it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Sorry it's taken so long to get another episode done. We will be back very soon, I'm sure, with more Car Mechanic Simulator 2021.